With so many of our great actors and directors making incredible movies in 2022, the standard is super high for next year, and it looks like many movies are gearing up to blow us away. These movies will range from biopics about historical figures to Marvel action extravaganzas. Keeping that in mind, let's dive into the top new releases to hit your screen in 2023 coming out soon. First up, Wonka. We've heard that initially there was a long list of people who were being looked at for the role of our infamous chocolatier. This included pretty big names like Donald Glover and Ryan Gosling, but in the end it was young heartthrob Timothée Chalamet who got the part. Probably the most exciting thing about the new prequel to the classic Roald Dahl book is that Paul King has been hired to direct it. King just finished directing Paddington and Paddington 2, two movies based on children's books that everyone loved. This director definitely has a lot of colorful energy that would work well in a Willy Wonka movie. It's hard to think of a better person to make a Willy Wonka prequel. Honestly, we're sure people would lose their minds once they find out who's directing this movie because he's just that good. Coming up, Mission Impossible 7. After so many delays, the 7th Mission Impossible movie will finally come out in July 2023, with the 8th installment coming in June 2024. Christopher McQuarrie is back to directing both of them after directing the last two Mission Impossible movies, the most recent of which, Fallout, was an instant classic. Tom Cruise's amazing stunts in the more recent Mission Impossible movies have become famous, and it seems like he tries to top himself with each new movie. In the 4th movie, he hung from the world's tallest building. In the 5th movie, he hung from a flying plane. Then in the 6th movie, he drove a helicopter while operating IMAX cameras. So, if you want to know why the 7th movie is one of the most anticipated of the year, all you have to do is think about what insane stunt he's going to pull this time. What's more, Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan's next movie is based on a biography of the man who invented the atomic bomb, Robert Oppenheimer. We don't know much about the plot, but considering it's a movie made by Nolan, it's easily one of the most anticipated movies of 2023. Oh, and let's not forget the cast. We've heard it's made up of some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Also, because of Nolan's film secrecy policy, it sounds like the actors weren't told anything about the plot before they agreed to be in it. Despite this, the film has a star-studded cast that includes Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Kenneth Branagh, and more. Since the movie is based on real-life events, we can already kind of figure out what the plot is gonna be. We know that World War II's end was made easier by what Oppenheimer did for the Manhattan Project, so it's likely that the director will use his ambitious visuals to tell a story that wasn't even told to this scale before. Up next, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the first of 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 movies on this list. It's the 3rd movie in the Ant-Man series and will bring back a mix of old and new characters that will be fun to see again. We're super excited about the 3rd sequel though, because it'll be written by Rick and Morty writer Jeff Loveness and directed by Ant-Man's director Peyton Reed. This time, Scott Lang and his allies, including his daughter Cassie, will work together to fight Kang the Conqueror. In the first trailer for the movie, we learn that Kang becomes a major player in the quantum realm and offers to help Scott and his family get out of that strange world for a price. It's clear that it's a showpiece for majors and a preview of what's to come for Kang in the MCU. Moving on to Indiana Jones 5. Even though Steven Spielberg won't be in charge of the 5th Indiana Jones movie, there are still many reasons to look forward to Indy's return to the big screen. Harrison Ford, who will be 80 when the movie comes out, is playing his most famous role once again. James Mangold, who directed Logan, will also be in charge of the new movie, which doesn't have a name yet. If this is the last movie for Indiana Jones, like Logan was for Wolverine, we're confident that Mangold will do the character and the franchise justice. There aren't many details about the plot yet, but it seems like everyone's favorite archaeology professor will be fighting this time. The story takes place in 1969 when the US is trying to beat the Russians to the moon, and from what we know, this will end up making Jones face some uncomfortable truths. Let's look at The Marvels. Ms. Marvel literally blew everyone away with their story and their visuals. So a lot of people are now also getting excited about The Marvels movie, which will feature both Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was a huge box hit in 2019, making more money than movies like Spider-Man: Far From Home home in Star Wars Episode 9. The big question is whether Captain Marvel 2 will bring things up to date or explore a time in between as Wonder Woman 1984 does. We could see a movie about what Danvers was doing around the galaxy before the Avengers got going, or Captain Marvel 2 could be set in the present day and be about putting together a new team of superheroes now that Iron Man and Captain America are gone. Another thing to look forward to is the fact that Nia DaCosta will direct this upcoming movie. Next, The Flash. After many setbacks, The Flash is finally coming back to the big screen in June 2023. In the movie, Ezra Miller will play the title character again. This will be his fourth appearance in the extended universe since the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which won fan awards at the 2021 Academy Awards. Even though this will be the first Flash movie that stands on its own, it shouldn't be a surprise that it will be one of the most anticipated movies of the next year since it will have two different Batman roles. Die-hard superhero fans can look forward to Ben Affleck's last appearance as Batman and Michael Keaton's return to the character. Following up, John Wick Chapter 4. The fourth John Wick movie, directed by Chad Stahelski, will bring back Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Ian McShane. After the success of John Wick 3 Parabellum, the fourth movie will probably pick up where the third movie left off, considering that we know John, aka Reeves, is on the run from the high table and looking for a way to finally get away from all the violence. The official synopsis says there's a way out, but to get there, we'll have to fight a deadly new enemy, that is Bill Skarsgård, and fight off assassins as he goes. Reeves has returned to two other franchises in recent years. Bill and Ted Face the Music and The Matrix Resurrections, and now we're clearly eagerly awaiting his return to his third iconic screen role. Not to mention Creed 3. In 2015, Creed, which was Ryan Coogler's story about Adonis Creed and his journey to boxing success and confidence, was the first spinoff of the Rocky series. In 2023, the Creed series will continue with its third installment, which will build on the first sequel, in which Adonis fought the son of Ivan Drago, one of Rocky's biggest enemies. Jordan will also be the director this time, giving him even more control over the sub-franchise he helped start. Tessa Thompson and Felicia Rashad will be back as Adonis's girlfriend and stepmother, and Lovecraft Country star Jonathan Majors is set to join the cast as the new bad guy. In the first trailer for the movie, we learned that Majors would play Adonis's childhood friend, who also wanted to be a boxer but ended up in jail for most of his life. He comes back ready to fight again, and Adonis is happy to help him until it becomes clear that this fight is about a lot more than just the ring. Finally, Dune Part 2. The epic science fiction movie that Denis Villeneuve made from Frank Herbert's book was a big hit in the movie world last year and got 10 nominations for the 2022 Oscars. Timothée Chalamet will be back this time. Zendaya will probably have a bigger part in the sequel. Florence Pugh and Austin Butler are also rumored to play other major roles in the book. At the end of the first movie, Paul finally meets Shani and joins the Fremen to bring peace to the planet Arrakis. So the second movie will probably pick up right where the first one left off. It'll be about Paul's rise to power and his fight against Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, who Skarsgård plays. Stay tuned because we expect many more giant sandworms and epic fights. Well, that's a wrap for this video, so which movie are you most excited to see in 2023? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And we'll see you in the next one.